Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at Bitcoin US dollar index on the daily time frame, and we have gone way back in time to 2010, 2011. Now, I do have a crazy wacko conspiracy theory that shows that Bitcoin is going to dump down. It's going to dump down within hours to 67K. Before I get into that, though, I want to discuss where we are currently. The Blue Channel Group here, back in 2010 and 2011. We are currently trading within the Blue Channel Group. It's a macro group of channels that I've discovered, I guess. Not discovered, but found. It's the same thing as discovered. Anyway, they're channels that Bitcoin travels in and holds as support and resistance. Now, currently, when I go back to the present day, you will notice the channels here. I have one that has white dashed lines. You'll notice these channels right here. This is currently where we are trading as far as price action goes, but much further in the future. I just wanted to show you how in the past these channels acted. See these wicks right up to the center line here. Boom, 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 boom. We had a candle body come all the way up here, get rejected, held this as support, the center line, and then finally, boom, busted above. And as we moved upwards, we held the center lines and the tops and bottoms of these channels as various levels of support and resistance. Very, very, very clearly. It's indisputable. You can see these wicks came right up there. How we held the center line here as resistance and got rejected down here. And where did we reject to? Down to various portions here we held. Now currently, this is interesting because this is what we're doing right now. We are currently attempting to hold this line as support. It's debatable whether we are or not in my mind. But are going to, is what I'm saying. But once we did hold that as support, boom, we began our parabolic bull rally. And you can see as we traveled up through the various channels here that we held as support and resistance. Even like so much so that you have this wick coming right down to here. And then we held the top of this channel as support here. Before finally coming down to the center line, bouncing back up to the top, got rejected, tried to hold the center line as support. And you can see, held it as support here, and then had a retry here, and boom, off we went. And we were running, off and running we were. So that's what happened back in 2010 and 2011. I'm going to scroll to present. Well, I don't need to pause the video to scroll to present day. This is past day right here. And as you can see, we never, ever, ever interacted with these channels, these particular channels, the Blue Channel Group, throughout the entire course of Bitcoin history till back here in 2022. 2022, the bear market, is when we began interacting with these channels again. And you can see that we came down, tried to hold this channel as support right here, but then finally fell through. And it's hard to see because there's a lot of other channels that are on top here, but you can see right here how we traveled right here through the blue parallel channel right here, So these have been major stepping stones that we traveled downwards through and upwards through, holding the bottoms and tops and center lines of these channels as support and resistance. And now this is where we are currently. And remember, I told you the white dashed channel back there. We held the bottom of this channel as support here, and bounced back, bounced up here, just shot right through it actually. And now, I shot right through here. We're trying to hold this center line as support here. Now, I thought we were going to get rejected here and come back down, at least to the center line here. But we didn't. We busted to move upwards. And so here we are currently. Remember what I said? We're trying to hold this as support here, and thus far we are. Let's switch to an hourly, maybe. And you can see how we're attempting to hold that as support. You can see more clearly here when we switch to an hourly chart how we held this as support here, came back to the center line, acted as resistance, got rejected, and then busted through. Came back, tried to hold this as support. We did real briefly and continued onwards and upwards. And then we struggled with this center line here, the dotted center line. And once we finally held it as support here, busted up. And now here we are. So, if by the end of the day we are above this line, I do believe it makes sense that we would continue onwards and upwards to the center line, at least, of the next channel, which is up around $87,000. So we got 4 hours left until the end of the day. Now, I believe this has been a pretty extensive move upwards, and it would warrant a pullback. I mean, we're way overextended. So I do believe, and it's not playing out thus far, we are holding this as support, but I believe that we won't. Well, I don't know. It's not a matter of what I believe. It would make sense that we do not hold this as support. Or if we do, it's not lasting and we fall back through it. What I'm saying is watch what happens here at this line. This line is currently around 79,600. If we close below that, more than likely we're going to dump. If we close above it, more than likely we're going to continue upwards. Of course, either of those could be invalidated depending on whether we're able to hold it as support or resistance. So just keep an eye on that line there. And now I do want to just show you what's going on with some other charts that I have here. Let's see, that was the index. This one right here is Binance. Now, I've drawn these charts, these channels, a long time ago in the past. I don't even really interact with these. Let's switch to a daily time frame. I mean, I drew these channels a long time ago. And Well, what I did with this yellow one here is it was a channel above here, and then I simply pulled it down from above. But regardless, you can clearly see that we are traveling upwards in this green channel, the yellow channel. They're just placed at different areas. You can see the green channel center line right here is acting as resistance, while the top of the yellow channel, or the bottom, depending on whether you're looking at the upper one or the lower one, is acting as support. But it's good to note, too, that while we do hold things as support, like I was talking about that blue line earlier, we can, that doesn't mean we're always going to hold it as support. So that's that. But anyway, you can see how we've been traveling here. And now, currently, on Friday and Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we've held this yellow line as support here and are currently bouncing up, making a move upwards from there. Now, it would make sense that we would continue to the center line of this channel, which again is around $84,000, similar to the other one. So arguably, these may be similar to the blue channel group. Let me see. No, they're not. They're not. These are different lines. Are they? Yeah. Yeah, the blue channel group is a shallower set of lines. 2022. Yeah, because they interact with 2022. But you can see what I do have here is this channel sloping downwards, the red channel, and then the green and yellow channels sloping upwards, which shows our transition from this channel to that channel. Anyway, we'll go look at Coinbase now. That was Binance. And on Coinbase here, you can see that is this purple channel sloping downwards, and now we're actually trading within these channels here, these green and yellow channels going up this way. And where that intersection of those channels are is this inverse head and shoulders that I've been talking about. Now, you'll hear a lot of people talk about an inverse head and shoulders, but they're calling what I have as the left shoulder, they're calling that the head. They got it all wrong. They said this is the shoulder, this is the head, and my head at 49K is no, I'm sorry, the head at 52. Well, I have the head at 52K. They're calling the right shoulder, and they had this all wrong. The left shoulder is the 49K low. The head is the 52K low, and the shoulder is this where we came down to like 57, 58, something like that. That's our right shoulder. And the neckline for that I don't have drawn here for some reason. That is very, very weird. I have it drawn on on the index here. The neckline for that shoulder is... Oh, you know what? I erased some lines. I do have it drawn here, but I erased some lines for clarity. And when I did that, I took out that channel. I mean that trend, the neckline. It might be good to put that back up for a second. It's probably on what the heck happened here? Well, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it now. Oh, you know what? Here's the neckline. For some reason it just got moved. This is the neckline right here. I don't know why it's down there. It belongs on a daily time frame. It belongs up here. Let me just position this properly. I think that's where I had it. Yeah. Now, you'll see this arrow right here. This purple arrow right there. Let's make it blue. Make it a different color. Let's try to make it that same color as that channel. And thicken it. So that's the target of this inverse head and shoulders pattern. And I pulled it and placed it over here. However, it's a purple line, which I will have to change the color of. Let's turn it to 4 and change it to the same color there. There we go. So that's our target from this inverse head and shoulders pattern here. And that's our target. And we did, because this is the right shoulder. We really struggled here on a daily basis holding this neckline as support. We almost fell below it here and rejected the inverse head and shoulders structure. And we even dipped below it right here. But then you can see once we did hold it as support, what has happened. With this big candle up here, a little consolidation, and another big candle. This tells me that we are coming up to 85, 86K. And that is following this green line as I predicted. Let's make it 4 points. That green line was my prediction since back here in the beginning of October, and price action has followed this exactly. Came down here, and now we're following it up there. We're following it to a T. So that leads me to believe that we are coming up to, we're going to be continuing on upwards here to 85, 86K this coming week. I've switched now back to the Bitcoin US dollar index chart. We are battling here, as you can see. Remember, 79.6? We're now at 79.4. We're struggling, and the bulls and the bears are battling right here at this line. Do we hold it as support or resistance? Resistance, we get rejected. This is a big fake out. It's a big fake out. A fake out is another name for liquidating either longs or shorts, upwards or downwards. That's all it is. A bull trap. Fake out, bull trap, bear trap, whatever. It's just a liquidation event. And this is the weekend. So keep in mind, weekend price action typically reverts back to where it was on Friday, which is down here. Now, I don't know if that's the case, because we are at the beginning of a bull market, parabolic breakout, whatever. But let me get into my conspiracy theory now. In my conspiracy theory, I've detailed here on the Coinbase chart, because after this move upwards here on during the week, after the presidential election, I was anticipating a pullback. Kind of after an election pump, maybe we see a little bit of a pullback, sell the news event. Anyway, and I was it made sense to me that we would see a pullback maybe after hitting around 75 or so, 76. We might pull back coming into Monday, maybe down to 72, 73, or over the weekend, 72, 73 area. So I was drawing trend lines here on the hourly chart. You can see the first trend line I drew here. Okay, stop moving around. The purple one hitting 1, 2, 3 candle wicks there. Okay. And then we continued upwards here, had another drawback here. And I drew another trend line here on 1, 2, 3 candle wicks here. And then we broke that and we came up again. I drew another trend line on 1, 2, 3 candle wicks here. And then we kind of just went sideways. Now, then again, we went up a little bit, and there's another one here. And let's see if we did hit 3 candle wicks or not on that. Oh yeah, we did. 3 candle wicks on that one. And actually a fourth one that we held as support there. So clearly these trend lines have significance. But what was interesting, I noticed, is that they're all converging. And where are they converging? Now, the first 3 converge perfectly at a single point. The fourth one is kind of in the general area, the general vicinity, but within a few hours of the others. And where do they converge? They all converge right down here at about 66.5K. And what is that orange dashed line there? It's 66.5K. That's the top of the 5-day Gaussian channel. The green dashed line is the top of the daily Gaussian channel. So if we were to break down, if we were to come down, to have a pullback, a significant pullback, a dump that would not break the macro trend, we would want to come down and not break the 5-day Gaussian channel. If we wick down into the daily, that might be okay. So this is what caught my attention. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of weird. Then this purple line here, which I'll change the color. Let's change the color of this purple line. If we can we click on it? Let's just make it white. It's not doing it. For clarity. That white line, let's switch to a daily. You can see the white line clearly here now. You can see where all those points converge right here. What is that white line? Oh, it's a line that we kind of fell through a little bit here. You can argue that we tried to hold it as support. It acted as resistance here in support. But it is the top, or one of the tops, of this long consolidation channel that we've been traveling in since March. And the way I came up with that line is that I connected these two tops. I believe this is June. Yeah. The 8th of June, 7th of June, and the 29th of July. So that's a connection of those two tops there. Now, if you recall, if you've been following anybody, it's been very hard to determine what exactly is the bottom and top of this consolidation channel, because there's various points you can go off of, but that's using those 2 points. Top of the 5-day Gaussian channel right there. The 1-day Gaussian channel. And it's where we were at not too long ago. In the vicinity here. Down around 66.7K. We were just there last week. November 5th, Monday. Monday, November 4th, we were there. So is that too hard to conceive? That this is a bull trap and we come right back down here? You can see how price action moved up here and moved back down. I mean, we've done this time and time again. We've had a lot of moves like this over this consolidation period. Even this, big move up here, big move down here. Is that too hard to conceive? That would really throw everybody. So that's what I just want to call to your attention. I know it's a wacko conspiracy theory to believe that we would come back down to 67K. And here we are at 80K. We broke our recent all-time high. And it looks like we're beginning our parabolic run. Trump just got elected, and there couldn't be anything more bullish for the Bitcoin, the crypto community. We've broken out of our consolidation. Makes absolutely no sense that we would come back down to 67K, but what if? So now I want to go back and let's just look back in history and see what's happened at other breakout points. All right, here we are in December 2017. Our all-time high was right here around 19,800. Next cycle, when we broke that, 19,800 here. You know what? And I should go on a weekly because let me just go on a weekly. It shows better. Here we are. When we broke this week, this week right here, when we broke 19,800, what happened the next week? From our top here the week before to the low the next week, that's an 11%, maybe 11% move to the downside. Okay, so that's what happened when we broke our previous all-time high last cycle. Let's go back to the previous one. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. In 2013, it's around 1250 was our previous high. And when we broke that here in 2017, it's right here in this section. When we broke that here, 1250 of this week in 2017, and then continued up the next week, what happened? A big pullback. Now, I also want to call to your attention, this is at a different time. This was in March. This happened in March. So we are talking about different months of the year. So everything's not exactly the same. But the week after hitting that all-time high, we dumped 26%. Now, we did continue our parabolic rally, but there was a huge pullback afterwards. Let's go back over here where we were, because what time of the year was this when we did this? It was right here, and that was in, that was about the same time of the year. This was November. In the middle of November is when this occurred. So now, those are the previous two cycles. One was an 11% pullback. The other was a 26% pullback. What about this one right here? Way back in the beginning of time. This is around $32 in 2011. And when we broke that here in March of 2013, remember, a different time, and we broke $32 right here in February, end of February 2013. We just kept going. There was no pullback to speak of. Now, this week, you could argue that we did have a candle here, a weekly candle that was significant, and then the next weekly candle did go all the way down to the bottom of that candle. So it closed green, but it did come all the way down and all the way back up. I hypothesize that we could have a similar thing occur right now, this time around. Now, you could argue, hey, those were when we broke the previous all-time highs. But hey, we already did that here. We already did that here back in March. Remember, with this candle right here? In March 2024, we already broke the previous all-time high. And the next week, we did see a significant I mean, pump upwards to 74, but then following, we did see a significant drop down to 60. So from breaking 69 down to there, that was a 13% move. From the high we hit that week, around 74 down to there, it's about a 17% move. So one could argue, hey, we already had that pullback. This isn't the same thing. We're not breaking our all-time high from the previous cycle. We're simply breaking that high that we hit in March. Is it different, or is it still we're making a new all-time high? And significantly, quite significantly, I might add. So is it unreasonable to think that we would have, if nothing else, this big green candle here followed by a big red candle that would take us back down to where we were on Friday at 70? Oh, we're on a weekly. Oh, yeah, you know what? This is a weekly candle. Interesting. So see, this really kind of goes along with what I'm saying. We had this big move last week from 68K all the way up here now at 79. And we went up to 81. Is it far-fetched to think that we would have a big red candle back down to 68K? At least wicking down there. And then showing our strength by closing, somewhere up here above the high we had back in March. It's certainly very reasonable with the volatility that we've seen here in the charts and in the past. I just realized I wasn't recording, and I don't know when I wasn't recording. But here we are now looking at CME futures, which closed Friday at 77,100, and it was trading at about a $700 premium to spot, which means in order not to create a gap, we would have to come back down sometime after it opens today at 2 p.m. California time, back down to 76,400 on the spot price to close that gap, or somewhere thereabouts. And since I've realized that I wasn't recording, and I don't know when because I paused it and started it, and I don't know when that occurred. Here we are currently on the US dollar index, and we are struggling to hold this blue line. We want to be 79,600 or higher, and we're below that. So let's go back to Coinbase, to my crazy conspiracy theory. Now, in order for this to hold true, I've placed this purple line right here. It's very odd to me that all these lines here converge. It's as if the big players, it's as if somebody was using this to communicate something to everyone else. It's very, it's really bizarro. It's really bizarro, wacko conspiracy theory. But if it holds true, then I place this purple line here. Let's make it red. Let's make that line red. The evil red line. Nah. I don't like that color. I don't like that color. Let's make it, there we go. If that holds true, and Monday morning, or Monday by close, we end up here. Because remember, the stock market has seen some pretty pumpy days last week, too. Could we get a big pullback on Monday? This is Monday end of day, by the way. That's another thing that's weird, that these lines converge at Monday end of day. At the 5-day Gaussian channel, the top of it, this top of our major consolidation, and right around, I mean, that's 67.2 right here. The convergence is right around 66.7-ish. So it's within a few $100s of this price action right here. Now, just to verify that, let's go to a daily time frame. Turn on the Gaussian channel. And you can see that green line represents the top of the Gaussian channel right there. And we'll switch to a 5-day. And you can see that that orange line represents the top of the 5-day Gaussian channel. Which, by the way, ends in the 5-day time period ends in 3 hours. Another very interesting coincidence. So if that ends in 5 hours, then so we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday would be the close of the next 5-day period. Huh. This is stuff to think about. Very certainly stuff to think about here. What's also kind of interesting is all the big orders on spot here have kind of disappeared to the upside and the downside. You have some here on the buys that are around 100 at 78 and 79. Let's see what's going on over here on the other ones. Yeah, all the high sell orders on top have been wiped out. And we do have some at the, I mean, just right at the buy level of around 100 or so. Kind of just holding things up here. I think that's indicating to me all the big players have done their manipulation, weekend manipulation, and are retired. Possibly, quite possibly. Let's take a look here in a second at this is Coinbase and all the rest here. Bitcoin, US dollar. Looks like the battle has cooled off. Quite possibly heading into the last few hours of the week. And here we are looking at the liquidation info. $600 million in the past 24 hours wrecked. 400 of that shorts and 200 longs. 200 million, 400 million. So that's pretty significant. Biggest one, 13 million. Could you imagine 13 million of your net worth being wiped out? So, very well, this could be a preemptive strike on the shorts because, this is kind of unprecedented. Usually over the weekends, the longs and the shorts leave each other alone for the most part. So this is kind of like a dick move on the longs, liquidating on all the shorts when there's low liquidity on the yeah, I guess low liquidity on the in the price action on the whatever I'm talking about. You know what I mean. Yeah, so going after the shorts over the weekend could be a preemptive. Since the shorts have been really the Bears have been very, very strong this whole for the past 6 months, 7 months, and very powerful, holding this market down. So this is, I mean, in the past several weeks at least, I've noticed that the longs have been going after the Bears and winning more and more often. And this is maybe one final blow to take out the strength of the Bears for our next continued rally upwards. And lastly, we're looking at our current liquidation heat map, the 12-hour. I'm guessing these guys are going to get taken out down here. Or be forced to cover their asses. Let's look over maybe the past 48 hours. You can see how the shorts that got liquidated there. Huh. And then could we come back down and wipe out all these longs on the way down? I just clicked on 1 week. So if we did come back down to 67, I would get rid of all these guys here. Anyway, so okay, that's that. I got things to do. You got things to do. So let's meet back here sometime in the future. All right.